friend Chula Mostibahenteng, Bachelor of Secondary, major in Mathematics. Today, I will talk to you about the stages of development and developmental tasks or the human development. When we say human development, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? So it is the process of maturity in the human body is called development. The process starts with fertilization when a male sperm cell penetrates an egg produced from a female ovary. So we have 8 stages of human development. First, prenatal period. Second, infancy, birth, 2 and years. Early childhood, 3 to 5 years old. Middle and late childhood, 6 to 12 years old. Adolescence, 13 to 18 years old. Early adulthood, 19 to 29 years old. Middle adulthood, 30 to 60 years old. And late adulthood, 61 years old and above. Progress before birth, prenatal development, we have 3 phases. Number 1, germinal stage, first 2 weeks. Conception, implantation, formation of placenta. So the germinal stage is the period of development that lasts from conception to 2 weeks after birth or implantation. When a sperm fertilizes an egg and generates a zygote, this is called conception. When sperm and egg combined, a zygote is formed as a one-cell structure. Second, embryonic stage, 2 weeks to 2 months. Formation of vital organs and systems. So the embryonic stage of human fetal development spans weeks 2 through 8 after an egg has been fertilized. Most organs and bodily structures begin to grow at the embryonic stage. And the last, fetal stage, 2 months and birth. Bodily growth continues, movement capability begin, brain cells multiply, age of viability. So the fetal era of prenatal development is when the brain undergoes the most significant changes. This stage of development begins in the 9th week and continues until the baby is born. Amazing transformation and growth characterize this stage. During the embryonic period, the early bodily systems and structures continue to develop. Prenatal, overview of fetal development. At 19 to 15 weeks, the fetus reproductive organs form. Tooth buds appear, eyelids form, fetus is very active, brain activity can be detected. At 16 to 26 weeks, brain develops rapidly, alveoli form in the lungs, internal parts of the eyes and ears form, eyebrows, eyelashes, and nails appear, muscles develop. At 27 to 38 weeks, body fat increases rapidly, bones complete their development, head hair gets coarser and thicker, brain is continuously active. It involves tremendous growth from a single cell to an organism complete with brain and behavioral capabilities. So another picture of overview of fetal development. Week since conception. So at 9 weeks, the fetus formation of brain, differentiation of ovaries and testes. Then at 12 weeks, can smell and frown, circulatory system working. At 16 weeks, heartbeat is strong, mother feels movement. At 20, hiccups begin, hair forms. At 24, visual and auditory senses function, eyes open. 28 weeks, body fat is added, brain specialization. At 32 weeks, periods of sleep and wakefulness. Then the 36 weeks, rapid increase in width, gains immunity from mother, and the 38 weeks is full term or birth. So infancy, birth 2 and years. It extreme dependence on adults, beginning psychological activities like language, symbolic thought, sensory motor coordination, and social learning. Language of newborn is the cry. Usually it's every 2 to 3 hours. Uncoordinated movements, toothless, poor vision or focusing range 8 to 12 inches. Usually doubles with by 9 months, responds to human voice and touch. So the interval between birth and 2 years of age is crucial for an infant's health, development, and growth. Infancy, 1-year-old. It changed from plump baby to learner, to leaner, rather more muscular toddler, begins to walk and talk, ability for passive language, better understanding of what being said, tentative sense of independence, and determined explorer. So the infancy, 1-year-old, babies learn to concentrate their vision, stretch out, explore, and learn about the world around them during their first year. Infancy, 2 years old. It begins to communicate verbally, can usually speak 3 to 4 words sentences, famous for negative behavior. Will play side by side other children, but does not actively play with them, and great imitators. Early childhood, 3 to 5 years old. wants to be just like parents. Vocabulary and pronunciation continue to expand, climbs stairs with alternating feet, and can briefly stand on one foot. So the early childhood is a period in a person's life when they are still developing. It is usually encompasses toddlerhood and a period of time later. Play age is a broad term that refers to a period of time in early infancy. Early childhood 4 years. Sentences are more complex, imagination is vivid, develop fears like fears of dark, fear of animal, and fear of death. Early childhood 5 years old. Can hop on one foot and skip, can accurately copy figures, may begin to read, socialize with other children their age. So in middle and late childhood, 6 to 12 years old. If both large and small muscles well developed complex motor skills, from independent activities to same-sex group activities, acceptance by peers very important, parental approval is still important. So the middle and late childhood, children have better control over their body, movements, achieving a variety of growth and fine motor skills that previously eluded them. Adolescents 13 to 18 years old. It's traumatic life stage for child and parents. Puberty occurs, extremely concerned with appearance, trying to establish self-identity, and confrontations with authority. So the adolescents 13 to 18 years old, growth, sports, and puberty changes are common during adolescence. Adolescents may grow many inches in a few months, then experience a period of very slow growth before experiencing another growth spurt. Changes associated with puberty or sexual maturation might occur gradually or in waves. Early adulthood or young adult, 19 to 29 years old. If physical development complete, emotional maturation continues to develop, usually learn to accept responsibility for actions and accept criticism, usually knows how to profit from errors, and socially progress from age-related peer groups to related to people with similar interests. So the early adulthood is a fascinating time in one's life. It covers a broad range of lifestyle options and obligations. And middle adulthood, 30 to 60 years old. Physical changes begin to occur, like hair begins to thin and gray, wrinkles appears, hearing and vision decrease, muscles lose tone. Main concerns like children, health, job security, aging parents, and fear of aging, and love and acceptance still take a major job. And the last stages of human development is late adulthood, 61 years and above. Eighth fastest growing age bracket of society. Physical deterioration, brittle bones, poor coordination, some memory problems, coping with retirement and forms of entertainment, very concerned with health and finances, and significant number become depressed or suicide rate is high. So the late adulthood, as people reach their 60s and beyond, the aging process causes rapid changes in our physical, cognitive, and social capacities and demands, and life comes to a natural end, resulting in the final stage, known as late adulthood, which begins in the 60s. So that's all about the stages of development.
Hi guys, so this time we will talk about the developmental tasks. So this is the continuation of development stages and development tasks. Our topic for this day is about the developmental tasks. So what is the developmental tasks? It refers to a physical or cognitive skill that a person must accomplish during a particular age period to continue development. And according to Robert Havergast, 1972, one that arises at a certain period in our life, the successful achievement of which lead to happiness and success with a later task, while failure leads to unhappiness, social disapproval, and difficulty with later tasks. It means that if we execute our tasks efficient and effective, we can achieve it successfully, and it will lead to happiness. But if we commit failure by doing later tasks, it leads to unhappiness because developmental tasks arises at a certain period in our life, and it is based on the stages of development. Because as we grow, so we have a corresponding tasks. So our first developmental task is infancy and early childhood. And this time, we can learn to walk, learning to take solid foods, learning to talk, learning to control the elimination of body wastes, learning sex differences and sexual modesty, acquiring concepts and language to describe social and physical reality, readiness for reading, learning to distinguish right from wrong, and developing a conscience. In short, this is a time of extreme dependence on adults. Many psychological activities are just beginning. Language, symbolic, thought, sensomotor, coordination, and social learning. These are preschool years. Young children learn to become more self-efficient and to care for themselves, develop skills readiness skills, and spend many hours in play with peers. The second is middle childhood, from 6 to 12 years old. So, the developmental task of middle childhood, is learning physical skills necessary for ordinary game, building a wholesome attitude toward oneself, learning to get along with age mates, learning an appropriate sex role, developing fundamental skills in reading, writing, and calculating, developing concepts necessary for everyday living, developing conscience, morality, and skill of values, achieving personal independence, developing acceptable attitudes towards society. In short, at this time, the fundamental skills of reading, writing, and arithmetic are mastered. The child is formally exposed to the larger world and its culture. Achievement becomes a more central theme of the child world and self-centered increases. So the third is adolescence, 13 to 18 years old. Achieving mature relations with both sexes, achieving a masculine or feminine social role, accepting one's physics, achieving emotional independence of adults, preparing for marriage and family life, preparing for an economic career, acquiring values and ethical system to guide behavior. Pursuit of independence and identity are prominent. Thought is more logical, abstract, and idealistic. More time is spent outside of the family. Early adulthood, 19 to 29 years old. So the developmental task of these stages is selecting a mate, learning to live with a partner, starting a family, rearing children, managing a home, starting a occupation, assuming civic responsibility. In short, it is a time of establishing personal and economic independence, career development, selecting a mate, learning to live with someone in an intimate way, starting a family, and rearing of children. Middle adulthood, 30 to 60 years old. So the developmental task of these stages is helping teenage children to become happy and responsible adults, achieving adult social and civic responsibility, satisfactory career achievement, developing adult leisure time activities, relating to one's spouse as a person, accepting the physiological changes of middle age, adjusting to aging parent. In short, it is a time of expanding personal and social involvement and responsibility, of assisting the next generation in becoming competent and mature individuals, and of reaching and maintaining satisfaction in a career. So the last is letter maturity, 61 and above, adjusting to decreasing strength and health, adjusting to retirement and reduced income, adjusting to death of spouse, establishing relations with one's own age group, meeting social and civic obligations, establishing satisfactory living quarters. It means that it is a time to adjust increasing strength and health, life review, retirement, and adjustment to new social roles in our community.